Welcome back to my channel where I read scary stories and creepy legends. Horror story from the most haunted hospital in Indonesia. This story comes from RSCM, Central Jakarta. The hospital itself was first inaugurated and opened in 1919. It is very old, isn't it? In fact, it is in line with many mystical experiences in this place. One of them comes from a student named Romley. One night he was walking home, but on the way he saw a group of people gathered at the side of the road. He then approached the mob. Well, it turns out that the people gathered there were there because they were helping an accident victim. Romley then realized that the victim was a friend on campus. In a hurry, he helped his friend and took him to the nearest hospital with the help of the locals. Coincidentally, the nearest hospital to the scene was RSCM, so Romley took his friend to the hospital for treatment. Upon arrival at the hospital, Romley's friend immediately received intensive care. Romley also tried to contact his friend's parents, however, it turned out that his friend's parents were out of town and could only arrive to the hospital in the morning. Romley was also asked for help by his friend's parents to take care of his friend until the next morning. After saying yes, Romley then asked permission from both of his parents to be able to accompany his friend who was lying limp in RSCM. After that, he went to the room where his friend was receiving treatment. The time had shown 11:30. The atmosphere at the hospital was so quiet. Romley, who had been trying to sleep, remained awake because he was still shocked by what had happened to his friend. Finally, he decided to buy a glass of coffee to get rid of the boredom of waiting for the drowsiness that never arrived. He then asked for the location of the canteen to a nurse he saw roaming around on the aisles of RSCM. However, instead of getting instructions, Romley was confused because the explanation from the nurse was a little unclear. Finally, he decided to just use his own instinct to get a glass of coffee. Well, while walking down the dark hallway, he smelled a very pungent aroma of medicine. A few minutes later, he heard a strange voice, like somebody was whispering. The sound came from the hallway in front of him. Out of curiosity, he approached the source of the sound. Surprisingly, when Romley entered the ward where the source of the sound came from, the strange sound disappeared. Romney looked around him and saw that everything looked a little too messy. Then Romley's gaze was directed to a table located at the corner of the room. At that time, the condition of the ward was very low in brightness, so he had to squint his eye a little more to get a focused vision. After trying to see things clearly, he was surprised to see a long-haired woman lying on the table in front of him. The woman's face seems to be laughing with a sharp gaze towards Romley. Romley decided to get out of there. Just as he hurried out of the room, he stumbled and tripped over something. He looked back to see a torso of a man looking back at him. Romney quickly got up and ran out of the room. Romney immediately found a security guard and told him what he had actually seen. The security guard tried to calm him down by giving him a drink. After a few minutes of regaining his, well, consciousness, I guess, at this point, Romley finally was comfortable enough to tell the security guard of what has actually happened. The security guard listened to Romley attentively and nodded his head. He then explained that the room that Romley was just exiting from was a former general surgical installation and had not been used for a long time. The security guard also added that the place that he was in was the most haunted room in the entire hospital. Romley, who was still scared, then asked to be taken to the room that his friend was being treated. Arriving in the ICU room, Romley never left his friend's side till the morning because of his, well, the incident that just happened. Thank you so much for listening to this story. I hope I had scared you just enough to subscribe and like this video. If you do think there is something I can do to make this video better, please add it in the comment below. Have a great day.